Hi, I'm Dempsey Palat, and this week I'm reviewing... Now before we start, as always, just a quick reminder to make sure you hit that like button if you like today's video, and if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well for more movie-related content weekly. But without further ado, let's jump into today's film. The Call of the Wild was directed by Chris Sanders, who's brought us films such as Lilo and Stitch, How to Train a Dragon, and The Croods. Now, this is his first live-action film, and it's based on the 1903 novel of the same name written by Jack London. It stars Harrison Ford, but it actually follows a dog by the name of Buck, as he's whisked away from his rural and wealthy hometown, sold to several owners in Alaska at the peak of the gold rush, and as he kind of learns to adapt to the wilderness. This film is weird. It's not bad, I didn't say it was bad, but it's not all that great either. I actually felt like it was just okay. Let me backtrack. Let's start off with some of this film's positives. Firstly, I thought the acting in this film was really good. Harrison Ford, who, in case you were wondering, is still very buff because this film goes out of its way to show you that. He is the backbone of this film, unsurprisingly. Don't get me wrong, there are other great performances here as well, such as Omar Sy and Dan Stevens. They deliver some pretty great performances, but Harrison Ford is really the glue that holds this film together. In addition to being top billed and pretty much being the main human character, he's also the narrator. More on that later. I also thought that the visuals were really good in this film. For his first foray into live-action filmmaking, I thought that Sanders did a pretty stellar job directing. However, it is important to note that there are also a lot of special effects at play here, and more on that later too. Above all, this film had a nice old-timey feel to it. In addition to being set in the late 19th century, early 20th century, it actually feels like you're there. The costumes, the production design, the tone, it was all very spot on. Unfortunately though, at times it is a little reminiscent of other films that have already been made. Watching it, I was reminded of films like Balto, Eight Below, Klaus, yes, the animated film Klaus that just came out last year, as well as The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, more specifically the one segment with Tom Waits. You know what I'm talking about. Now, I guess what I'm trying to say is that although this film is somewhat an original story, and while it does have that old-timey feel, it just never feels truly original. And I also think that because of the story's constant shift in direction, it struggles to flow properly, which may result in you feeling like you're watching either a bunch of different mini-movies back-to-back or a bunch of different movies with different ideas meshed together all at once. Now, going back to Harrison Ford's narration, I kind of feel like it contributes to the confusion. You see, he doesn't really become a major focal point of the story until about halfway through the film, yet he narrates the entire thing, like from the very beginning. And while it is kind of explained, or, you know, you come to understand why he is the narrator at the very end, I personally never felt like it was truly justified. And speaking of things that were just unjustifiable here, the dog is CGI. And no, it wasn't like there was an object filling in for the dog and then they just created the dog in post. Well, kind of, okay? Except there was a person doing motion capture for the dog. And I'll give it to them, it looks very realistic. But it kind of takes away the entire point of the film because the entire film revolves around a dog. Except it's not a dog. So confusing. It actually kind of reminded me of the Lion King remake that came out last year. Like, why not use real animals? Why not use a real dog for this? Okay? For a film that is supposed to be live action, there is tons of CGI in this. So much so that it makes you question, why wasn't this just a full-blown cartoon? I mean, Chris Sanders has done it before. Why not now? Although this film is technically a remake and an adaptation, in a world where originality is becoming increasingly hard to stumble upon, I can understand why it seemed like a good idea to make. For one, it's family-friendly, it also has a very bankable Hollywood star, and it has a dog in it, because we all know that in 2020, everybody hates cats. Despite being occasionally entertaining, I just didn't see the point of this film. I mean, it literally has no real protagonist. Literally. Once again, this film was just very okay. I mean, you can see it, you can not see it. I don't think you'll be missing anything either way. But if you go into this movie, you actually do see it and you go into it expecting a masterpiece, I can promise you, you're barking up the wrong tree. And for that, I'm going to give this film 2.5 stars.
Adventure of a lifetime.
Psych!
Guys, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to view this video. It really does mean the world to me, and once again, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well for more movie-related content weekly. Now, if you happen to see this movie, if you loved it, if you hated it, let me know what you thought about it down below in the comments section. I look forward to reading all of your responses and responding. I'm especially interested to know what people thought of this, because I just really felt very meh about it. But yeah, that's pretty much all the time that I have for you guys today. You should definitely look forward to more content soon, but I should probably get back to work on it, right? Until next time, I'm Dempsey Pollard. Take care.